Thomas stood at the graveside, watching as they lowered the casket into the ground. The casket that was supposed to hold his wife, Anna. 24 hours ago, two police officers had knocked on his door. Car accident, they said. Head-on collision. Anna's car had been hit by a drunk driver. She died instantly. The baby, miraculously, survived. She was in the hospital. Stable. Unharmed. Thomas had collapsed. He remembered screaming. Remembered the neighbors coming over. Remembered someone taking him to the hospital to see his daughter. 3-week-old Emma. So tiny. So fragile. So alive. But Anna was gone. The funeral happened fast. Anna's mother insisted. She's at peace now, her mother said. We need to let her rest. Thomas barely remembered the service. The flowers. The people offering condolences. The closed casket. They said Anna's injuries were too severe to have an open casket. Thomas didn't argue. He couldn't bear to see her like that anyway. After the burial, everyone went to Anna's mother's house for the reception. Thomas stayed for an hour, holding Emma, accepting hugs and sympathy from people whose faces blurred together. Finally, he went home. He put Emma in her crib, sat on the couch in the dark, and cried until he had no tears left. He didn't sleep. He just sat there, staring at nothing, wondering how he was supposed to do this alone. How he was supposed to raise their daughter without Anna. How he was supposed to wake up every morning knowing she was gone. Dawn came slowly. Gray light filtered through the windows. Thomas heard Emma crying. He stood up, exhausted, and walked to the nursery. But when he reached the doorway, Emma wasn't crying anymore. Someone was holding her. Thomas froze. A woman stood by the window, Emma cradled in her arms, humming softly. The woman turned around, and Thomas's world stopped. Anna, his wife, alive, holding their daughter. Thomas couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't speak. Anna's eyes filled with tears. Thomas, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thomas's legs gave out. He fell to his knees. You're dead. I buried you. Yesterday, I watched them lower your casket into the ground. Anna walked toward him, still holding Emma. I know what they told you. But Thomas, I'm not dead. I never was. Thomas shook his head. This isn't real. You're not real. I'm losing my mind. Anna knelt beside him. She took his hand and placed it on her chest. Feel that? My heartbeat. I'm real. I'm here. Thomas felt her pulse beneath his palm. Steady. Strong. Real. He pulled his hand back like he'd been burned. What is this? What's happening? Anna took a shaky breath. My mother. She did this. She faked my death. Thomas stared at her. What? 2 weeks ago, Anna continued, my mother came to me. She told me she'd hired a private investigator. That she knew about the gambling debts you'd racked up. The loan sharks you owed money to. The threats they'd made. Thomas felt his stomach drop. I was handling it. You were drowning, Anna said gently. And she convinced me that they would come after Emma. After our baby. She said the only way to keep Emma safe was to disappear. To fake my death. To make everyone, including you, believe I was gone. Thomas's head was spinning. So the car accident? Staged. My mother paid people. The drunk driver was an actor. The police were bribed. The casket they buried yesterday was empty. Thomas stood up, pacing. His voice rose. So you let me believe you were dead? You let me grieve? You let me bury an empty casket? Anna was crying now. I didn't want to. I fought her on it. But she said if I told you, you'd try to stop me. And the loan sharks would find out. She said this was the only way to protect Emma. To give us a clean start somewhere far away. And you believed her? Thomas shouted. You believed that lying to me, letting me think you were dead, was better than trusting me to protect our family? Anna stood, still holding Emma. I was scared. I just had a baby. I was exhausted and terrified, and my mother. She's always been controlling. She convinced me this was the right thing. But Thomas, the moment I saw you at that funeral, the way you looked, the pain in your eyes, I knew I'd made the worst mistake of my life. Thomas ran his hands through his hair. Where were you? Where have you been this whole time? At a house my mother rented. Across town. She kept me there. Told me to stay quiet. To wait until she figured out how to get us new identities. How to relocate us safely. And Emma? My mother took her from the hospital. Told them I was her grandmother and had temporary custody. Then she brought Emma to you after the funeral to make it look real. Thomas felt rage building in his chest. Your mother manipulated you. She manipulated both of us. And she used our daughter as a pawn. Anna nodded. I know. I know that now. That's why I'm here. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't let her control my life. Control our lives. So I took Emma and I left. I came home. Thomas looked at his wife. The woman he'd loved since they were 19. The woman he'd buried yesterday. We have to report this. Your mother bribed police officers. Fake documents. Staged a death. She needs to face consequences. Anna nodded. I know. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. But Thomas, first. Do you forgive me? Can you forgive me? Thomas looked at Emma, sleeping peacefully in Anna's arms. Then he looked at Anna's face. Exhausted, tear-stained, but alive. He stepped forward and wrapped his arms around both of them. I don't know if I can forgive you yet, but I'm glad you're alive, and we'll figure out the rest. Together. Over the following days, they went to the police. The real police. They reported everything. Anna's mother was arrested. The officers she'd bribed were investigated. The fake death certificate was voided. It became a media scandal. But Thomas and Anna didn't care about the publicity. They cared about protecting Emma, about rebuilding trust, about starting over. Months later, after the legal chaos settled, they renewed their vows. This time, for real, with no lies, no manipulation, just two people who had fought through the worst and came out the other side. And Thomas learned something important. That forgiveness doesn't happen overnight. That trust takes time to rebuild. But that love, real love, is strong enough to survive even the deepest betrayals. As long as both people are willing to fight for it. What would you have done in Thomas's situation? Would you have forgiven Anna? Let me know in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe for more emotional drama stories every week. Your support means everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.